Yeah.
Hi, videotape an audience. We're filmed before a live sailboat audience.
Of me.
Of Beth. Now, it's probably really windy, and you probably can't hear me very well, but it wasn't windy all damn day. So, we motored the whole way back from Pier 77. We're now in the bay. We're about, I don't know, about 30 minutes away from getting back to Kima Boardwalk Marina. And we're just going to motor the rest of the way, and we're not going to bother to put up the sails today. But we're back, and we're heading into our slip. And all the rest of the work we're going to be doing pretty much can be done with the boat in the water. Zang. The first major project we really had to cover was this Rubrail. You see how it's supposed to look? Yeah, it looks like this. So we had to cut it out. Once we got it out, we had to find a piece of wood that could replace that section and give us a good Rubrail that was waterproof. All right, so we do not have teak. We have a really nice piece of mahogany that we've cut in, and you can see it's not done yet. We're sanding down and making it match here. It's still not quite right, but we'll get an orbital sander, a hand palm sander on here, and really smooth that out and make it all flush and good. And then we're gonna have to trim up a little bit on the bottom here, which you can't see because I'm not aiming it right. It's a struggle. It's a 78 boat, but we got it. And that's a piece of mahogany in with our teak. Not optimal, but you know, that's what we had to work with. And then we'll finish sanding this and sealing it, and we'll put the bronze rail back on, and it won't leak, which is the real important thing. And it'll work as a rub rail, which is the ultimate important thing. I decided to tackle a through hull next. So, up in that hole, this one was there originally. I didn't film it, but it was jammed up in there, and it's an 1 3/4 hole. So I cut out all the 5200, which is like permanent, and these are a monster to get out. But I for once was not smarter than the part. I was just stronger than the part, and I hammered this sucker out. Then in here, I had to drill a hole bigger, and I'll show you the secret to that in just a second. But then I put it in, and we had to do the 5200, and now we're gonna have to paint around this again and everything else. But that's my new transducer hole. So I've got now that DST whatever, DTS whatever, down to sail. DTS, I'm down to sail. Transducer, and it goes in a through hull, which is out here. Ooh, fancy zoom out. Boom. Yeah, I got skills. Okay, let me show you an old trick I picked up back in the war. You know, the war of carpenters. I don't know. War of somebody. Anyway, when you've got to drill a hole, but there's already a hole there. As anyone who's ever done that because they're too ADHD to do it right knows, if you put a hole saw in there and you just try to drill a hole saw bigger than the other hole, your hole saw goes all over the place and you just ruin your boat or whatever it is you're working on, or your really expensive piece of wood. But if your hole is 1 3/4 and you put 1 3/4 inside your 2 inch, which is what you actually need it to be, it will bolt up and actually sit a little proud and a little high. And you take that and you stick it in, it fits right in the existing hole, and then you just drill the bigger hole. And that's what I did for the transducer hole. I just did this with this exact setup, these exact drill bits. This is how I do. So our Atlantic arches, aluminum arch, really, really happy with it. In general, I am not an expert, so there's a couple things that were really kind of a pain in the butt. Like when I set it all up and dry fit it several times, I never realized that the deck was cambered, and so we needed to create some angled pads for these feet to go on the deck. So I had to create those after we made everything. And you can kind of see it a little better here. Everything's still really filthy down there. We got to clean it all. But we've begun installing some of the stuff that's going to go on it. We're putting an emergency antenna, the GPS, and then of course we're going to install the radar up there. And it is it's pretty stable. It's pretty good. I did everything like they said and preloaded, but it's aluminum, and honestly I think it bent. I didn't preload it that hard, but it didn't pop back 5 inches when I when I released it, but it's good. I hung on it and everything and checked it out, and so it's looking really good right now. One of the hardest things was getting the arch from down on that table where I assembled it up to here to the boat. It actually would have been easier to get it on board the boat had we been on a dock, because it would have been so much lower. This was just, woo. But once it's up here, sitting on the hard was way better to install. Just a lot easier, a lot safer. And I'll show you some pictures here of our system of lines and lifting to get it up. After assembling on the ground, I needed to find a way to put the feet on and get it up top. So the feet were placed in, measured up, and epoxied in after multiple test fittings up high. You can see the lines coming off of the rail going up to the mast, and we were using our rigging to hold on to it, keep it balanced, and keep it from falling. Once we were able to bolt it down, we could take those lines off, and having very carefully measured everything, I was only an inch off. But it works great. So Bethy has begun working on the rub rails and getting them down. Now, these are really weathered rails. They're really neglected. Got a lot of work to do. Even with all the sanding she's done, there's still gray spots in there because these were actually weathering and almost, especially up front here, they were almost completely uncovered. There's just little scraps of really worn out varnish. But the rest of the wood was pretty bare, and it's, you know, it needs a lot of work. And of course, we have some damage we're going to need to like fill in with some epoxy and that kind of thing. But she's doing a great job. It is back-breaking work and getting this all done. And once we get it done and we get finished up, that it's going to really pop and the color's going to come back. But she's doing a great job. And of course, our new teak Torrid boxes. Ha ha ha. For comparison, here's a rail with some teak worn off. This is what it looked like, and this is actually in better shape than the bow because we had a Dodger and a Bimini up over in this area, so it was actually more protected from the sun. But that's what our bright work looks like right now that we're trying to fix. A lot of gray, a lot of worn, weathered, so a lot of sanding. Yeah, my stupid finger got in the way of filming, so sue me. It's a new phone. Here's some nice pictures of some beautiful woodwork. Quit your whining. Anyway, we had a few other things, like we had to fix the back of the rudder and we needed to add a new zinc to the prop, but that was about it, and we got to go home. Wait, didn't I promise I was going to tell you how I made Beth happy? Yeah, we went camping. That makes us happy. We were out there right near the ocean, had a beautiful night. Of course, we forgot a corkscrew, but that will never stop a carol. And yes, we drank it out of cups like savages. But Beth was happy, and that's what matters. After climbing in at an exceptionally low tide, we motored home, and yeah, that's an actual animal. Swear. And when we got there, and all the people at our dock were very happy to see us, and there was much rejoicing. Yay. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. Tune in to our next video. Those of you that are a really close family, we've already, you know, said it on Facebook a little bit here. But the next video is going to be focused on big news happening here with our plan moving forward to sail around the world, talking about our house here, talking about my business, and we're actually going to stay away from the boat for a tiny bit because we have to do some work on the RV, which is going to become our living space when we're in Austin. So that's what our next video is going to be about. If you guys are starting to follow our videos here, you need to click like and subscribe and click a little bell down there on YouTube. That's what they do. As you guys know, we don't monetize this channel. It's just for family and friends and strangers who find us. So that's what the next video is about. And yeah, I don't know when it'll be done because I do this on my own free time and I'm not trying to monetize it. So you get it when I'm feeling like making it. Have a good one.